In the Mishnah, Makas Tav Chof, this is still from last week, the Mishnah says, V'hamakiv pas roishay. The Mishnah is listing out different lavin. Somebody who removes his payas, he makes his head round, his hairline round, which means he removes his payas on the two sides of his ear. V'hamashchis pas ekonoi. Somebody who is mashchis, removes his beard, we'll soon see how, is over, is chayiv. So the Gemara says, on Daf Chof, the Gemara says that for payas, a person removes his payas, he's over two lavin, one on each side. He removes both of his payas, he's a separate lav for each side. And then the Gemara says, like, if somebody removes his beard, but oifen aser, then he's over five lavin on the two sides of it, on his cheeks, two on each side, and one on the bottom on the lechi. So that's the din. These are lav and the Torah. One it's all in the same pasuk, but one is lagabe the payas, removing the payas haroish on his head, and one is lagabe the payas asazak and the beard. You're over five lavin if you remove your whole beard. So the Gemara in Daf Chaf Aleph, this is this week, the Gemara in Daf Chaf Aleph goes on to explain when is one over when he removes his beard, and what oifen, just removing the beard, a person, when is a person over removing his beard? So the Gemara says that he's really two psukim. Upasakanim lo yigalechu yachal afil golche b'mesparayim giluach. One in the pasuk, there's one in kedoshim, one in emor. Lo yigalechu, the lashon giluach would seem that a person's over even ba'ofen giluach itself, even ba'ofen just cutting it off, which would mean even b'mesparayim a person's over. Lo yigalechu, cutting a person's beard, even with a scissor, even with a trimmer, which is a scissor, a person would be over. But the Gemara says no. The pasuk says in the beginning of Parshas Emor, like it's speaking legabe kahana, but over there it says leisashchis. Leisashchis means that not just cutting it. When a person cuts his beard, he's not destroying his beard, so he wouldn't be over. The pasuk says leisashchis. You have to do ashchasa. So b'meila from ashchasa, a person from ashchasa, you see that you're not over when a person just cuts his beard off. But if it would only say Zakti Gemara, if it would only say Hashchasa, one would say that you're over even Yachal Lakat Berehitni, you pulled it out with a tweezer, you did Hashchasa, but not in a way of cutting it, not Giluach. You destroyed your beard, you took it off, let's say with a tweezer, but you did not cut it off. From Loisashchis itself, one would think that you're over even with a tweezer. Kamash Malan, you need both. Both, the Psukim say you have to cut your beard off and cut it off by oifen hashchasa. And what's the oifen of hashchasa? Cutting off your beard by oifen hashchasa, says the Gemara, havaoim mezutar. Havaoim mezutar. The way that a person's over is only when he takes it off betar with a razor. A razor cuts off the beard, but it also cuts it off by oifen hashchasa. So if a person shaves with a razor, he's over on the lav, and if he does his whole beard, he's over five lavin. That's the Gemara. So what comes out, since a person, how we see the Gemara says by a beard, that a person's only over when a person cuts his beard off with a razor, because cutting it off, you have to cut it off ba'ofen hashchasa. If you don't cut it off ba'ofen hashchasa, if you don't cut it off with a razor, you're not over. If somebody cuts off his beard with a scissor, a person's not over. That's what comes out clearly from the Gemara, and it's brought like that, la'alach and Shulchan Aruch. Kuf Pei Aleph Hilchos Giluach, the Shulchan Aruch says, Einoi chayav al shchasas pas hazaken. A person is not over when a person shaves, elo betar. Only if a person removes his beard, betar, with a razor. Avo b'misparayim, if a person cuts off his beard with scissors, mutter, it's mutter. Afilka entar, so it's mutter. Why? Because you're only over with the drasha, the Torah, even though the Torah says Giluach, but you need both. Giluach and hashchasa together have oim is etar. The other way is true as well, brought in the Gili Marsha, that one could remove his beard with a sam, with a cream, which even though when he puts on a cream, the cream destroys his beard, it's hashchasa. But as we saw, the isser for hashchasa itself, there's no isser by a beard. So one could use cream to remove his beard. That was actually done before the shavers came out. That was the way how to remove, at least one of the ways how to get your beard off if you wanted to do it by a heter. So Mele used the cream. The cream taka is hashchasa, But hashchasa on a person's beard is mutter. You're only not allowed to do it ba'ofen giluach, ba'ofen cutting it. The Chassam Sofer says the same thing would be mutter. A person's allowed to pull out pieces of hair from his beard. It's mutter. Just like what the Gemara says, malaka perahitni, you're allowed to pull out from your beard. The only isser is the isser b'makam when you do it giluach v'hashchasa. The Gemara only speaks about the isser l'gabe a person shaving, that you're only over giluach hazak and shaving when you have both. When you have hashchasa and you also have giluach. You need both. Hava'im is utar. What's the din l'gabe the payas? Payas haroish. Do you say over there also that the payas haroish, you're only over if a person removes his payas betar, which means giluach v'hashchasa, or payas, even if a person removes it anyway, the Torah says loy sakifu, not to make it round, So however you take it out, you're making it round. Whether if you take it out with sam, it's removed ba'ofen hashchasa, or if it's removed ba'ofen giluach, even with scissors, it's aser. Because this drasha that we're learning now, the Chaf Aleph Amud Aleph, the Gemara's drasha is only legabi giluach hazaken. These two psukim for giluach hazaken for the beard, and we say from the two psukim you're only over ba'ofen tar. But what's about the payas aroish? If a person removes his payas, is a person over one lav, two lav, and on both sides just by removing it, regardless of what way he removes it? Or is it the same thing as giluach hazaken, which you only over betar, which you need both giluach v'hashchasa? So this shaila is a machlekes rishonim. Tosfos in the beginning of Shavuos Daf Beis Amud Beis, Tosfos says l'chumra, that the drasha to say that you're only over giluach hazaken ba'ofen that is hashchasa tar, that's only by a beard, because the drasha is by a beard. However, by payas aroish, the Torah just says loy sakifu. Since it says loy sakifu, you're over in any sort of way, as if you remove your payas, one way or another, person's over. That's shitas hatosfos, which the Gemara takas the drasha is by zakon. There's no drasha by payas. The Torah doesn't say not giluach and not hashchasa. The Torah says loy sakifu. So however you make your head round, whatever way the haircut comes about, you're over b'chol ofen. It's also a rush over here, a makis, Rabbeinu Yeruchim, the Smak, the Rav, and Pirush HaMashnayos. They all say that it's aser, which means that when a person takes a haircut on his hair, not on his beard, one way or another, however he removes his payas, he's over. He makes it hakaf, he makes it round, it's aser. Mi'idoch, the Shitas HaRambam in Hilchos Avodah Zarah learns that the same din that's said by the beard is also said by the payas, which means a person is not over when he removes his payas, only if he removes his payas batar. L'kula. The Rambam is in Hilchos Avodah Zarah Perek Yud Beis Halacha Vav. At the end of the Rambam, Umuter lilkoit hapayas b'misparayim. One could remove his payas completely with a scissor. Not batar lo nesar ela hashchasa shel tar, which means, to understand it, if a person takes a haircut, let's say a zero, he can remove his payas as well. Shitas HaRambam, he can move his payas as well because it's not a tar. The isser of removing payas is just like the isser of removing a beard, which is only ba'ofen hashchasa. Shitas HaRambam is also the Taisus Arid, the Ritva in Shavuos, the Meiri, the Chinuch, which is a chiddush, because really the Gemara's drasha is only legabe, we learned only legabe the beard. You don't have the drasha legabe the giluach haroish. But l'chayr you have to say that it's a gilui. Once you see it by the zakon, who had them by the payas also. The Pashta says, the Torah says akafa, that the isra akafa is aser b'chol ofen.
could be because the Torah uses the Lashon pass. It's mashma the beer. It's in the same pattern as the same, since we're using the same nusach.
So really, it's not the. What you're mentioning is that the Torah, it's the same nusach. It's a different lashon apasik. Loisakifu paas, and then it says loisashches. By payus it says loisakifu. The lashon apasik. Loisakifu pas roishchem, v'loisashches es pasik onecha. So, it's for sure different what the Torah says, lagabe peyas arosh and peyas azakan. It's a different lashon. The pasuk says differently.
We can make a position around that word that pass, just like the duno of pass by the beer.
Obviously, he says giluach harosh would be the same thing, but it's a chiddush. If you don't have a drasha in the Gemara, the Rambam is machadash a hekish. But if it's a gilui, it means you see over there. It could be it is round, but if you understand that the Torah gives the Isser only ba'oifen giluach v'ashchasa, so that's where it's aser, not anywhere else. What? So lahalacha, we have a machlokes rishonim lagabi giluach harosh. The Torah brings both shitas. It brings the Rambam, and then he brings his father, the Rosh. That's machmer machlokes. The Shulchan Aruch says in Sif Gimel, also in Hilchos Giluach, Ein chayiv ela betar. And he's talking about the payas arosh. You're not chayiv ela betar, which means if you go to the barber from this part of the Shulchan Aruch, you could take a low number, let's even say a 0, if it's not a tar, because l'maisa ein chayiv ela betar. L'maisa the Shulchan Aruch says brings machmirim. The yesh oisrim b'misparayim, when you take a haircut, your head, you shouldn't even cut it off with scissors. B'misparayim ke'en tar v'yesh lachish l'divrayim. The Meister Shulchan Aruch says to be machmer. So what comes out, we have a machlokes if one can remove his payas ba'oifen that it's not hashchasa, let's say to cut it off with scissors. We have a machlokes. The Shulchan Aruch says to be machmer. The lashon abir alach and hilchas Shabbos. The Shulchan Aruch, the Bir Alach is Siman Reish Nun Aleph Sif Beis. He says, I'll read you the lashon when he discusses speaking about taking a haircut. V'yesh oimrim de pa'as harosh chomer oid me pa'as zakan. That taking a haircut on the hair of the head is more chomer than shaving. The oivra alav afilam avirim b'misparayim kentar. Person's oivra even if he just cuts it off with scissors. Dainu samach lebasara, as opposed to beard, you only over the tar only with a razor. So this is one way, which means to remove a person's payas ba'oifen giluach with scissors. We see these in machlokes rishonim. Lahalacha one should be machmer, and that's how people are taka people are machmer, whatever size, a 1 or 2. But that bedina the Shulchan Aruch brings mutter v'yesh oisrim v'yesh lahachmer. The Mishnah Berurah Bir Halacha says to be machmer. What are you bringing up? A good point. How low of a number? So the question is, even in misparayim, how low? That's mamash a discussion for itself. It's a discussion. Min hadoimo also lagabe shaving. What type of shavers? When we speak about tar as well, what goes into misparayim? How low is it? Kedei tvisa. That's a shmooze for itself, but it's a good point. We're not. That's a discussion. What goes into misparayim? But whatever is in nichlal of misparayim and scissors. And cutting it off is aser. Obviously, if you cut it even with a scissor, but you leave, let's say, 1 inch of your payas, so that there's no problem. Cutting with a scissor means you're removing your payas, giluach. So if you cut, let's say, with a 2, for an example, a 4, whatever size it is, that it's sticking out, that's not cool that you removed your payas, you didn't even do giluach. What are we going to...
No, where would we get this concept of giluach in general? Of separation between sar and usually always hashkasa and tzareya, right? Somebody with tzaras, they have it's hashkasa. And most of the time, so it sounds like a whole new idea of in between Ashkasa, after Ashkasa, and Mitzrayim, it's Asr. Where did these Rishonim get that source from? They learned from the Pasuk that it's not Ashkasa, but it's Mitzrayim?
You're asking the Gabi Giluach HaRosh for the Payas?
Yeah, for the Payas. Where do they get that concept of the separation between Ashkasa and Mitzrayim?
Oh. If I understand your question, what's your name, please? Baruch. If I understand your question, the Rishonim, the Rambam that says it's like Giluach HaZakan, so that's, we understand. Just like Giluach HaZakan needs Ashchasa, Giluach HaRosh also needs Ashchasa. But once you're saying that you don't need Ashchasa, so where do you mechalek and make a new thing of Giluach? So this is really what we're going to get to. Correct? Tell me if this answers it. We're actually going to get to it right now. Once we're saying that removing a payas is aser just with giluach itself, just with cutting it, the opposite as well is aser. Meaning to say is, we're not saying there's only a certain way of iser. What's about removing one's payas, not by cutting it off with scissors? A person removes it besam, berehitni, he pulls out his payas. What would be the din over there? So in Gilead Marsha, it's in Gilead Reb Kiveger and Shvuah Staf Beizam and Beis, he says it would be aser. Which means when the Torah says lo sakifu, regardless of the way you make it round, by the payas it's aser. We're not saying there's a din giluach. The Torah doesn't say giluach. If the Torah would just say giluach, so then we would say you're over even with giluach itself. By the beard, the Torah says giluach, and the Torah says ashchasas, you need both. By the payas, the Torah doesn't say you need either one of them. So Mamela, you're over, say if you cut it with a scissor, not because he's a din giluach, because when you're cutting it with a scissor, you're making hakafas pas aroish, and the same thing is also when you remove it with cream, you pull it out, you'll be over as well.
What does that mean to round out your payas? How do you round out the line from here, top of here,
I'm going to give you the chart afterwards. I have it printed out, colored, the shear, very nice, that somebody made. Where exactly the payas near your ear is, but the idea is that you make it round from here, how the Rishonim explain, from here to the back, and you make it round. So it doesn't mean over here, the back, these different shitas, but the idea is that you make it round from pedachta, your front, from your forehead to your back. The hairline is round. That's what the Torah says, leisakifu. The reason for the isser, the goyim went like that, but that's the isser, to make it round. We're not talking about payas hanging down. We're talking about to remove it. Now we're saying even by misparayim, even by removing it with cream, it's aser. Reb Kiveger asked his son-in-law, the Chassam Sofer, Lafi, what we just said now, that there's an isser to remove payas, regardless of what way, whether if it's taking it off a misparayim, whether if it's taking it off berehitni, pulling it out, it's aser. Asked Reb Kiveger, l'chayr should come out, it should be aser for one to comb one's payas. There's a shail of how many hairs you have to take out to be over 240. If you hold 2 hairs, a person combs his hair, his payas, 2 payas come out, so you're being over, as we explain now, to remove one's payas. The isser halav midoiraisa is, say if you do it, you cut it off with scissors, or if you remove it berehitni. So when a person combs his hair, l'chayr should come out that it's aser. And Reb Kiveger actually was b'tzarachi in how you're allowed to do it. L'maisa, when a person combs his payas, the payas if it comes out, it'll be aser. The Chassam Sofer says it's mutter, you're allowed to do it. He says 1 teretz. And then he also brings a raya that it's mutter, because his Rebbe, Reb Nosson Adler, used to do it, and then Meila Karchach it's mutter. But to bring out the point, since we're saying that removing a payas b'chol oifen is aser, Kiveger said b'tzarachiyah that maybe it should be aser to remove payas, even to comb your payas, because when you comb it, hairs come out. The Darkei Tshuva brings a different answer, a teretz how one could comb his payas, even if hair is going to come out. And for that he says is because it's a eina machaven. It's a psik reish l'anicha eina machaven, and therefore it's mutter. Which would really come out that Lafidus Darkei Tshuva, it's only it's only mutter only when you're eina machaven. Which means pulling out of here, that would be aser. However, these shitas from the Chassam Sofer would seem that even pulling out is mutter. Aruch HaShulchan argues, Aruch HaShulchan holds dafka when you're eina machaven. Atkan was speaking about legabe the din of giluach haroish v'giluach hazaken legabe the giluach itself. We're speaking about legabe the iser giluach itself, removing it by a beard. It's aser only ba'oifen that you do it betar. By payas, there's a machloikis, and we're machma to remove the payas b'chol oifen. Now we'll go into some other problems, potential problems when removing giluach hazaken. Let's go to the beard. Again, the Gemara says the only way to be over when a person removes his beard, there's only a iser, only ba'oifen that a person removes his beard betar.
Didn't the Gemara take out the line of 2 hairs? It says 2 hairs, it takes it out. So there's no standard for 2 hairs anyway.
The Beis Yosef is Mesopek. The Goyim brings it. We'll leave that shear on the side. Maybe we'll speak about it a little bit afterwards. Very good. You had a good point what you're bringing up. Good point. But that's a shaila in the shear. We're going to just speak whatever the shear is in general. There's another lav to be addressed, and that's the iser halav of leisilbash. There's an iser for a person, for a man, to put on clothing of a lady, and a lady to put on clothing of a man. Both ways he's an iser. Iser leisilbash. So the shaila is, when a person shaves, is a person over by shaving the iser of leisilbash? A lady doesn't have a beard, and by a person shaving, a person's being madama himself to a lady. The Chafetz Chaim in a Sefer HaKatzah brings the chinuch. I looked in the chinuch, I didn't see it, but he brings that the chinuch says that if a person shaves, besides being over the iser, of giluach hazak, and a person's over on leisilbash as well. The pashtus, and that's how the Tzemach Tzedek learns. The later Tzemach Tzedek, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Tzemach Tzedek learns that a person's over even ba'oifer a heter, which means if a person shaves with a razor, so then he's over on the iser giluach hazak and the iser, that iser. And we're saying he's over the iser of leisilbash as well. There are those that Tzemach Tzedek and others learn, Klechem the Darkei Tshuva, Orchos Yosher, Reb Chaim Kanevsky brings from the Stipler, that even if a person shaves ba'oifer a heter, a person would be over on the din of leisilbash.
So why was it perimater? What's in the gap?
We'll see the tzad heter, and l'chayr that's where it's nageya. But it's interesting. Shaila laver all of b'shnei laven.
According to these that answered it, it's not like the Gemara needs to talk about it. It's not a gap.
You ask Shalom, you're asking a very good point. When is it ever negay? The Gemara, which we just learned of Chaf Aleph, is a ganze drasha that you only over tar. We're saying even without a tar, it's aser als leisilbash. L'chayra, the answer would be l'chayra is laver al b'shnei laven. That would be the simple answer. Means if you do with a tar, you're over als giluach hazaken and you're over leisilbash. If you do without a tar, you're over leisilbash. I'm asking, I have it over here also, Tzarachi, in the Gemara's Mashma, it's mutter. The Gemara makes a drasha, but even that it's not a tar, it's mutter.
Well, leisilbash is seasonal, that's why.
Oh, very good. Lamaisa, the study I had there, first of all, the Chassam Sofer, like Elia said, that leisilbash is only when taka, it's ba'oifen, that ladies do it and men don't do it. Let's see if both do it, it's mutter. We're not going to go into the whole leisilbash, but just in a nutshell, leisilbash is the isser for a man to do put on clothing that a lady wears, but a clothing that are for both, there's no isser. So says the Chassam Sofer, Ach ata bavoiniseinu kil kaltanu tikon aseinu shekvar holgul ruba de ruba b'medina seinu to lahasa saris to shave. So memela there's no isaloi silbash. So that's one point, like Elia mentioned very clearly, that lamaisa the isaloi silbash is only if there is like silbash only lady, not men. But often that men do it, it's mutter. So memela that's one sad. That's why the Chassam Sofer says it's mutter to shave, but often that it's not a tar, and there's no like silbash. Another heter, and that's a chiddush and a lomdus in Leis Silbash, and that's in Rabosh and Igras Moshe. Ramosha says that Leis Silbash is only an isser when ladies do it bekum vasei, which means they put on a certain beged, they put on a dress. You're not allowed to go and put on that beged, or even if they do something to beautify themselves, certain hairs that they remove. That is Si'ifim and Shulchan Aruch, that it's asur for a man to do Beis HaShechi, Beis HaErva. If they do it Bekum V'asei to remove it, then you're not allowed to do it. However, a beard, they don't have it in the first place. It's not that they do it, they remove their beard to beautify themselves, and therefore you're copying them. They just don't have it. So Mele B'chahai Gavna Loi Asur Torah, there is no Isaloi Silbash, and Mele, if a person shaves Ba'ofen when it's not a tar, it'll be mutter.
Even if they do have facial hair, they're not taking over the razor, perhaps, like wax it off and all that.
But that's not the derech also, which means it's not the regular. Yeah? Even if they have it. It's interesting, Reb Shlomo Zalman, see if I could even read the Lashon. It's not his Lashon.
What kind of holds today that it's a silbash?
Milvad sheheir eich machmirim b'chol advarim. Reb Shlomo Zalman, like for his mishpacha, said that they should really be machmer, not to shave, because of this reason, because of the chshas of Isra Torah of Leisilbash. Again, we see clearly people shave. The Chassam Sofer says there's no problem. The Ramosha writes there's no problem. There's no Leisilbash. But just to understand, even though Taka, we learned through this sugya of Chaf Aleph over here that the Isser shaving is only betar. What to speak about that could be these a shaila of Leisilbash. There's another lav to be addressed besides Gilua Chazakan and besides Leisilbash. What's about Chukas Hagoy? The shaila is Goyim shave. So l'chayra, by us shaving, there should be another lav, a Torah of Chukas Hagoy, which there's a whole nidun. The Tur brings the Rambam, the reason why we're removing Peyas Chukas Hagoy. In general, could be that's the Isser. But l'chayra, even if you're shaving without a shaver, there should be a problem at Chukas Hagoy. And that also the Chafetz Chaim brings from the Sefer HaChinuch, that when a person shaves even without a razor, a person's over Leisilbash and Chukas Hagoy. Interesting, the Shevet HaLevi, and this actually the Chinuch brings, the Minchas Chinuch, the Minchas Chinuch says that if a person shaves, a person's over also on Chukas Hagoy, which would seem even if he shaves without a razor. But in Shevet HaLevi, Rav Vosner says, you have to look it up inside, but he says that a person would only be over Chukas Hagoy only when he shaves betar. Because that's what the Goyim do, they shave with a tar. You only over Chukas Hagoy. On this as well, the Chassam Sofer says that there is no Chukas Hagoy. And he actually brings the history. It used to be the Goyim used to have beards. Everyone had beards. There was a king, I think in the 11th century, he brings that his beard didn't grow. So he was embarrassed, so therefore he passed the law that everybody has to shave. So everybody shaved, and the Yidden were also afraid they shouldn't be persecuted, showed that the Yidden, everybody shaved. So there's nothing to do with Chukas Hagoy. At first everybody had a beard, and then everybody didn't have a beard. It's not Chukas Hagoy. So if a person shaves ba'oifen, that ba'oifen mutter, as we saw, you're not over like Silbash, and you're not over on Chukas Hagoy as well. One other thing that may be a bit of an issue was even if a person shaves ba'oifen a heter, let's say like besam, one of the ways where the cream burns out the beard, l'chayre there should be a problem of marasayin. A person sees a clean shaved, it's marasayin. Marasayin looks like the person shaved betar. He has a good clean shave. He did it with cream, which is mutter gomer. L'chayre there should be a shail of marasayin. So on this shail of marasayin, these are different tshuvas Rav Moshe, and Rav Moshe says that since the people that shave know and they could tell when it's with cream, with tar, they could realize. So there's no marasayin. The people that don't shave don't know. So he says, chaver the chaver isli, people know, people hear, people speak, so there's no problem with marasayin. So maybe we have the isser to shave is when it's a tar. Obviously, what type of shave is that's a maktsaya for itself. You have to just make sure that it's not a tar. We answered why there's no leisilbash and why there's no chukas agoy. And just to end off, that the Chavetz Chaim brings, it's really a Gemara, that a person to have a beard is a hadras ponim. The Gemara brings that Rabbi Yochanan was a beautiful person, but Lamaisa, when Chazal counted the prettiest people in the world, it's not, Rabbi Yochanan is not listed. And the reason is because he couldn't physically grow a beard, so it was missing of the hadras ponim. Some say it's brought that Alpika Aboli, you should keep your beard. And some are machalak between Eretz Yisrael and Chutz La'aretz. It's only in Eretz Yisrael. Alpika Aboli, not in Chutz La'aretz. The Gilya Marsha brings that. In a tshuva, someone asked the Chassam Sofer, he was discussing about shaving. So he says, but Alpika Aboli, you're not supposed to shave. So the Chassam Sofer said, Ainli Asik ben Astarim. I'm trying to focus on halacha. Don't bring me from Kabbalah. And he brings even more. Migadol lanu kamoinu, like the Marami Pana, which is a makobel, and he shaved. So it's good to know that he's an Indian, it's nice, he's hadras ponim, but al pidin, it's mutter if you do it the right way. But often, like the Gemara says, as long as you don't use a tar, it's mutter. Giluach is mutter, hashchas is mutter. As long as you don't use a tar, it's mutter. Have a wonderful day.